Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome to the top 10 stories of the holiday season of ForConstructionPros.com. These are the stories that got the most attention on the site since the holidays. I'm Larry Stewart with ForConstructionPros.com.
I'm Dormy Roberts with Pavement Maintenance and Reconstruction Magazine. So starting with number 10 this week is innovative thick lift asphalt design facilitated by diamond grinding. In this article, South Carolina Department of Transportation completed a project on South Carolina Highway 544 that required significant rehabilitation and non-traditional mill and fill applications to revive the severely deteriorated highway. The project was completed in May of 2020, and in all, 106,632 square yards of pavement were diamond ground, creating a smooth, high friction, and quiet riding surface.
All right, at number 9, Lafarge Holcim uses 3D printing to create affordable housing in Africa. So they formed a JV with an investment company, CDC Group, called 14 Trees, and they're deploying 3D printing technology at scale to build affordable low-carbon housing in schools in Africa, starting in Malawi. So UNICEF estimates that the current shortage of Malawi classrooms is like 36,000, and it would take them 70 years to build those using conventional methods. 14 Trees says it could build those units in just 10 years using 3D printing. And fast construction and optimized material use reduces their carbon footprint for building these buildings by like 70%. So the walls of the JV's first prototype house were built in just 12 hours. Check it out.
Coming in at number 8 is Atlas Copco Power Technique appoints new president of Power and Flow. The company announced Michael Anderson as the new president effective February 1 of 2021 of the Power and Flow division, which develops, designs, manufactures, and sells generators, light towers, and pumps.
Number 7 on the list is the Associated General Contractors sue to block the Fed's effort to change the Paycheck Protection Program loan rules. So the Small Business Administration, the Office of Management and Budget, created a questionnaire without public input that asks about everything other than the economic uncertainty that Congress intended to drive the program. AGC filed this suit in U.S. District Court on December 8 to compel the Small Business Administration, the Office of Management and Budget, to revise the questionnaire they issued after loans had started being granted without public input. The point was to reassess whether companies were eligible for the PPP loans. But Stephen Sandher, the association's CEO, while he acknowledges that the administration has an obligation to ensure that businesses are eligible for the relief loans, he says they don't have the right to use a secretly crafted form to gather unprecedented amounts of proprietary information that has little or nothing to do with the economic uncertainty that led businesses to apply for the loans in the first place. Real interesting story there.
So number 6 is a time lapse of a crane moving a $22 million bridge into place. So the crews in Emeryville, California, recently spent 3 days working 24/7 to hoist a pedestrian bicycle bridge into place. The bridge itself required months of preparation, and there were constraints of working over an active railway. This video is actually pretty neat, especially it's a time lapse showing the bridge placement.
Yeah, those time-lapse videos really give you an interesting perspective on the construction process. So number 5 was cleaning up the Cold War, remediating a Wyoming uranium mine. So Summit Excavation and Grading landed this contract to move 1.2 million cubic yards of dirt to fill a groundwater lake at the bottom of a Cold War-era uranium mine by targeting an average weekly production of 50,000 cubic yards. They used 2 Volvo 40-ton articulated dump trucks pulling 2 K-Tech scrapers each for a total capacity of 74 cubic yards on each run on this long haul from a spoil pile to the pit. Summit finished its mine reclamation project on time with unique combinations of earth-moving equipment that included more than just the towed scrapers. Check out this story for more about how it was done.
A uranium mine, that sounds like a complicated project.
Yeah, and they really used a variety of things. They had a 3-to-1 grade going down into this pit, so they had a lot of material going down that hill. It was real interesting.
And number 4 this week is the latest COVID relief bill that gives $10 billion to state DOTs. This has been long awaited, and Congress passed a $900 billion COVID-19 relief measure on December 21st. Of that aid, State Department of Transportations are getting $10 billion as part of the final According to analysis by the American Association of State Highway and Transportation Officials policy team, the relief must be apportioned by the Federal Highway Administration within 30 days of the bill enactment and will be based on each state's share of obligation limitations within the Fixing America's Surface Transportation, or FAST Act.
Number 3 on the list is Mission Carbon Zero. Now, this is really interesting because few companies in the manufacturing and industrial sectors have been willing to rock the boat and publicly embrace the Paris Climate Agreement. Some in the concrete industry question whether or not they need to change at all, as the most used building material contributes to building energy efficiency. But cement production contributes 4% of total CO2 emissions, making it one of the world's largest single industry contributors to climate change. Find out here in this story how Heidelberg Cement, Lafarge Holcim, several universities led by MIT, and the Cement and Concrete Industries Associations are reducing concrete's carbon footprint.
And at number 2, we have Congress set to approve COVID package with $45 billion in transportation aid. As we know from story number 4, this measure was passed with bipartisan support. To dig in a little bit deeper, though, of that $45 billion program, $16 billion are set aside for airline and payroll support, $14 billion for public transportation, and as we all know, $10 billion for state DOTs, and then $1 billion for Amtrak. As the agreement includes a second round of Paycheck Protection Program loans for those businesses severely impacted by the pandemic.
All right, at number 1 on the list this week, the U.S. Department of Labor final rule clarifies independent contractor status. So this ruling sharpens up the test to determine who's an independent contractor under the Fair Labor Standards Act. And it's expected to reduce worker misclassification, litigation, and improve the efficiency and job satisfaction of both employees and independent contractors alike. The ruling affirms an economic reality test to determine whether an individual is in business for himself or is economically dependent on a potential employer for work. There's so many independent contractors out there, and this is a major issue in terms of benefits costs and salary costs. So check this story out for some of the clarifications there. I'm sure it's going to be a really effective description of what needs to happen in 2021. And that's it. Those are the big stories this week. Thanks so much, Dormy.
Thanks, Larry. It was great to be on.
All right. And hang with us. We'll be back next week with this list. I hope you have a great weekend.